Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode either 104 or 105. I'm not too sure. I'm not really too up to date with which podcasts in the future I've uploaded or have not uploaded. I'm recording this prehistory before I even go to Pennsylvania before Christmas because I need to get caught up for Christmas. So I'm recording a bunch of episodes before Christmas comes around. I'm very excited for this podcast because I have asked my first comedian to come on the podcast. His name is Cam. Don't know his last name. I'll get back to you on that. But once I find out his last name, he should be coming on the podcast. I gave him my phone number. He's a very, very funny comedian. He's 23 years old. He's just starting out, but he's fucking hilarious. Way more funny than me. And he texted me back, and I think that he's going to be willing to come on the podcast and talk some shit, and I'm very excited for everyone on the podcast to meet him, and I think that he will be a very good installment. And not only that, it will be my first comedian on my podcast, which is super, super, super exciting, something that I always dreamed of happening, and now it's finally happening. I listened to my old podcast before I recorded this one. I wanted to prepare for this one today. By the way, I'm a little drunk. I think that should be useful information for the audience. I'm about one drink in with Bacardi, but you know how Bacardi is. Bacardi makes you a little crazy. I listened to an older episode to prepare for this one today, and I just can't even imagine. I was 2 months in when I was listening to this podcast. I think it was solo episode 79 I listened to, and it was just so funny. I mean, it was maybe one of the funniest things I've ever listened to, going back and listening to where I was at in that particular group of life and knowing what could have happened, what would have happened if I just stayed there. And I knew that you could tell even from that podcast, I was terrified of staying in Massachusetts. I was terrified of being that kid who stays in Easton and doesn't move out and doesn't make anything of his life. And I didn't do that. And I think that one of the things I could have never thought happening of me actually asking someone to come on this podcast who was a comedian, I would consider a comedian, and they would actually say yes and coming on. But they did, and it happened. So we're there now, and it's kind of crazy that all these small little moments, I tend to focus on the bigger picture of things, of like, I need 200 subscribers, but maybe I need to focus on these smaller moments of being able to get a comedian on, getting to episode 100, being able to talk to actual comics who have talked and met Tony Hinchcliffe and Joe Rogan. These are very, big steps that I never thought I would take. It's just the podcast steps are so slow for some reason. I'm not exactly too sure why, but for whatever reason, there's just not a lot of growth that comes with a podcast until you have actually done something else. It just doesn't happen. People don't want to listen to a podcast of somebody trying to do something. Like, no one wants to listen to my podcast because I'm trying to be a comedian. They don't find that interesting enough. They need a comedian. I think that people will find these episodes interesting once I've made it as a comedian, or if I make it as a comedian. But until that point happens, I don't think anyone is ever going to be interested. Also, I just thought about, like, what if someone opened that door, like it was like a horror movie, right? And someone opens the door behind me, because I'm looking at the screen while I'm recording, and like if I was looking at the screen and someone opened that door and came in and murdered somebody, that'd be so fucking scary. I just thought of that. That would be like a cool slasher scene. Someone in the middle of a podcast, and the murderer breaks through in the middle of a podcast and fucking just starts slashing the podcaster to death. You know what? I'm gonna save that. That's a good movie scene idea. I think that'd be a really funny movie scene. Like if in the next installation of Halloween, right, Michael Myers walks in on a podcaster, like someone like me. What if it is me? What if I'm directing the movie and it's just me recording my podcast and I have Michael Myers kill me? I think that would be a very interesting idea. Anyway, besides the point, we have some topics to get into today. I really wanted to have this be a good episode now that we're at episodes 104, and this is my first solo podcast over 100 episodes, which is crazy. I fucking bombed today. I was fucking terrible. I don't know why. I tried to record a solo podcast and I could only make it to 15 minutes of absolute fucking garbage. And then I had to stop it because it was so bad. Hopefully this podcast doesn't get that bad. But if it does, I'm not stopping this time. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome, sit down, relax. It's the Kpush podcast, episode 104. Bear with me. This is my first solo episode in a while, so there's gonna be a little bit of rust. It's never hurt anybody though in the past. Yes, it has. But anyway, besides the point, we are going to dive into when you are poor, you eat shit and you don't have time to cook. This is an idea I've been thinking about a lot, and even in the past, like, I've learned some new things about coming on this, being fake poor, which is what I like to call it because I am fake poor. I do everything a normal poor person does, like I check my bank account every day, I eat out at the grocery store, I have a McDonald's app and I try to use its deals. These are all, if you are, listen, if you are eating out at a grocery store saying thank you, thank God, right? You're poor. If you have a McDonald's app and you're looking and you're going, oh my God, a free Big Mac with a 10-piece chicken nugget, what a deal. You're poor. Right? And this is what I do. These are the things that I do on a day-to-day basis because I am fake poor. The only difference between me and an actual poor person is that there's no chance of me becoming homeless because I have rich parents. Now, you have two types of rich parents. Rich parents that will allow you to be fake poor, and then you have Isaiah's parents. And Isaiah's parents will, well, I mean, I don't want to say anything, but we're suspecting that his parents have given him the credit card. He's eating Chick-fil-A every night. I don't know how you do that with no job for 4 months, but he's doing it. He's figuring out a way. Maybe he's a really hard worker. Maybe he's a prostitute. Maybe I'm giving all this shit to Isaiah because he's being able to eat Chick-fil-A for 4 months straight without a job, but maybe he's sucking dicks on the side. You know, like when I'm going to work for 14 hours a day, he's just off on the streets of Austin, Texas, just sucking cock. Just all day long. Every single time I have a solo podcast, it always goes gay. I've noticed that it never fails to not go a little gay. But anyway, I kind of like this bit. So Isaiah's on the street sucking dick for Chick-fil-A. We're in the Domino's outfit. And I'm drunk. We're getting a little crazy today. Well, and also, Isaiah and Dom, they're gone for 3 weeks, which is a little crazy. Well, by the way, Dom was saying that he's going to be fine. Like, I don't know. He's going to be fine getting back to work. Do you know how you feel when you get back to work after like a weekend? Remember on like a Monday, how you feel every single Monday? Like when you wake up on a Monday after a weekend of partying, you want to just shoot your brains out. You wake up and the only thing you want to do is taste lead bullets. There's nothing else you would want more. Because there's nothing else that really fixes a hangover except the taste of lead bullets to the mouth. But when you are hungover Monday morning, it's just, you're groggy, you've been out of the loop for 2 days, you're like, what's going on? What time is it? Is it the next month? But you get back into it because you've only been off for 2 days, so you can kind of you get back into the rhythm a little bit. You know, you take a couple days off, you fucking screw up a little bit, but then you get the rhythm. It's back. It's back. Dom is taking 3 months off of this. Off of this thing I'm doing right now, this rhythm. He's not doing it for 3 fucking weeks, okay? And he thinks he's gonna be fine. Good luck. I mean that, Dominic. If you're listening, good luck. Good luck. Because I would and he's saying he needs it, which, by the way, he does, and he deserves it. He's really, these 4 months, he's been a really hardworking person. Not as much as me. But he's been a really, really hardworking person, especially over the last month. Over the last month, he's fucking picked up his fucking game and has been fucking kicking ass. The first 2 months, he was a little bit lazier than me. Nevertheless, though, he was very, very useful, and I could not be doing this without him. So I don't want to undermine the work that he has done here, okay? I really don't. But he did leave, and I'm still recording. That was we had an agreement. This podcast would be finished. It would be all caught up, but it's not, okay? But no, it's fine. I will do it. I will fix it. It's okay. I'm going to do this podcasting thing. It's my podcast. I'm going to fix it. Where was I? Oh, I had this one last point on being poor and enjoying food. I'm not sure how being poor got to here, but it did, and we're going to keep rolling with it, okay? Isaiah could, and this is my last thing with being poor and not knowing how to cook. Isaiah could learn how to cook, but he is too busy playing Star Wars and Far Cry 3 to learn how to cook a chicken quesadilla. Anyway, music and comedy don't go together. They don't. I don't know if you've ever been to an open mic before where it's a comedy and open... By the way, you don't need an open mic if you're a musician, okay? You either suck or you don't suck. Okay? There's not this because with comedians, you don't know what's funny. You never know what is actually funny. This is one of the biggest problems with this podcast. This is one of the biggest problems I have with recording so many solo episodes. And I'm getting to a problem now where I feel like a lot of this podcast time I'm putting into this podcast is taking out a time of getting on stage and testing out of what is and what isn't funny, because I'm decent at making things in my thoughts sound interesting. I'm decent at making my thoughts sound interesting, but I don't know what is and what is not funny. And the only way you find out what is and what isn't funny is by going on stage and testing jokes out. You don't need an audience to find out if what you are playing is shit or not. Did you hit the note on the rhythm or did you not? Okay, there's not this in between where a musician, a struggling guitarist is like, damn, I really don't know if my guitar playing is good. 50% of the time, you probably just suck. You probably just suck at playing the guitar. You need to either practice more, give up on it, go back to college, or take that accounting job. There's not that much room for in between of I don't know. There's no real I don't know in music. You can show it to your best friend and they'll know. Does your mom like the sounds you make with the guitar? It's these simple questions with musicians, right? You don't get that with comedy. They're set up with comedy. You can't just play a joke for your mother. That's not how it works. You can't just play a joke for your mother, for your grandfather, for your friend out of nowhere. The most ridiculous questions most comedians ask, or most comedians get asked, I should say. My bad. I'm a little drunk again. Is, oh, you're a comedian. Why don't you tell me a joke? And immediately, if somebody asks you this question, you know that they don't have a good sense of humor. You know that you're going to fuck up the joke because you had no preparation for it whatsoever. No one asks you, hey, can you just play the guitar? Like, no one says that unless you're holding a guitar, right? No one goes up to you and is like, hey, man, what do you do? Well, I play the guitar. Well, do you think you could play the guitar right now? Unless you have a guitar in your hands at that moment, that's a very strange question to get asked. But if you are trying to be a comedian, that's a question you'll get asked all the time. Hey, you have a joke? You have a joke? Oh, you're a comedian. Could you make me laugh? Really? Really, you're a comedian? Do you think that you could make me laugh? How about you go off and suck 1,000 fucking dicks? You're not funny and you don't have a good sense of humor. If you ask the question, do you have a joke, can you make me laugh? You don't have a good sense of humor. And one of the most impressive things about, music and comedy not going together, and one of the reasons why music and comedy doesn't go together is because music doesn't need an audience. Comedy and open mics work because comedy needs an audience. No open mics for a musician should be packed, ever. That shouldn't be a thing. If you are a musician, you're a loser and you should be in your bedroom practicing your shit. If you're a comedian, you're a loser and you should be going out on stage practicing your shit. Do you understand? Like, they're both losers. But the musician loser doesn't need to be on stage. They can just be a loser in their bedroom. The comic needs to be a loser on stage. There's two completely different things here. One of the most interesting things is like, and of course, one of the reasons why comedy and music doesn't go together is you can't have like Kurt Cobain go up or like somebody play Rape Me and then afterwards have dick jokes afterwards. I wrote that down and saying it out loud, it wasn't nearly as funny as I thought it was going to be. And I think that if I was in front of an audience, that wouldn't get that many laughs, but that's okay. Swing and a miss, folks. Swing and a miss. We're moving on. But one of the most impressive things about people like Bo Burnham or these people who will do music and comedy is that they don't go together. And yet you're going to combine two things that don't necessarily go together. It's like when you're watching a Jordan Peele movie and it's a horror movie mixed with comedy. And it's so funny because, comedy is supposed to release tension. Horror is supposed to build tension. And I think that that's almost the same thing with like stand-up comedy. Because stand-up comedy is a little more how am I trying to say this? It's a little more tense, I think. I think stand-up comedy live is a little bit more tense because at any stumble of the word, at any timing, and again, you're just using words, there's so many ways to fuck it up. And I think that there's so much tension when you're watching stand-up comedy because if it's not funny and if you don't laugh, watching someone bomb or that feeling of bombing is so god-awful and hard to move on from. And you know that there's a chance of that happening when you're watching someone do stand-up. It's hard to bomb that bad when you're playing the guitar. Unless you suck at playing the guitar, you kind of know when to go up on stage when you are good enough to play the guitar so that you don't bomb at playing the guitar. Because again, you can play the guitar when you suck. You can practice the guitar when you suck so that you don't suck anymore. You can't really do that with comedy. And so I think that music live sort of is that same idea with horror and comedy and film. It's sort of the same thing with a live performances with music and comedy. because music is sort of just, you know that they're good enough. They practiced enough in their bedroom where they felt confident enough to come out on stage and perform. So you already sort of have this disillusion that they are good enough to perform on stage, so you are more relaxed. Well, rather, when you watch a comedy, you're like, okay, this guy could really be good, or this guy could just be trying to be good and be fucking terrible. So it's so interesting when you see someone like Bo Burnham be able to combine comedy and combine music so fluently and fall in and out of comedy and music so effortlessly. He makes it look so flawless, especially if you've seen Make Happy on Netflix. It's one of the best comedy specials ever. Ever. And it's 50% of it is music. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I just, those types of artists always seem to impress me because they are always able to push the boundaries of what is and what isn't acceptable. And I think that that's sort of what I've always wanted to do in life. And I look up to people like Bo Burnham because of that. Bacardi and Coke. Can't get anything better. There's a little bit of Dr. Pepper in here too. It's delicious. Alrighty then. I love moving on to our next topic. I got my cavity. I got a cavity filled. I get a cavity every 2 months. I can't help it. It doesn't go away with me. Cavities just keep popping up with me. They don't go away. They're just always there. Like, it's like a fucking... It's like a... I'm thinking of an analogy. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Give me a second. It's gonna be good. Got it. It's like a YouTube advertisement. It just keeps popping up. You don't know when it's going to come next, but you know it's always going to come. And you pause. And you're so fucking stupid. I'm so fucking stupid. And you always know that it's going to be the same thing, but you never want to see it again. It's the same thing as a YouTube advertisement. How's that analogy? Was that a good analogy? I'm going to consider that a good analogy. But I got it filled up. And one of the things I love about a dentist, you gotta love, right, is when they have, like, lizard videos playing in the dentist office. By far, my favorite thing ever on the entire planet. While you're worried about a needle going into your gums, injecting fluid that's not supposed to be there, that's gonna numb your whole face and mouth and gums. And while you're worried about, is this guy gonna fuck up my teeth for the rest of the entire life while he has a drill in my mouth? You're gonna be able to watch cute, cuddly lizard videos. Truly genius, by the way. I mean, whoever thought of this? Whoever thought to put up lizard videos, right? And I love, like, the in-depth that they got, right? Like, did you know only 10% of lizards are herbivores? Yeah? Yeah? Okay? I learned this while tweaking out. I'm sitting in the dentist chair, fucking freaking out about a drill going into my mouth, and I'm learning that only 10% of lizards are herbivores. I mean, what a productive way to spend your time of tweaking out about worrying, is your mouth going to be fucked up for the rest of your life? You get to learn that only 10% of lizards are herbivores. Do you understand how important that is to me? And I like when open mics do this too, because open mics will do this. Is you go out on an open mic, you'll be worrying about bombing, about not entertaining the crowd, and behind you they'll have DUIs or life hacks about peanut butter sandwiches. Okay? And I love that because I didn't know that there were life hacks to making a peanut butter jelly sandwich, but there are. Okay? And you get to watch them while you're watching me bomb. And that's my favorite, okay? Is that when I go to the Lazy Days open mic in Austin, Texas, and I'm trying out new material, and I'm like 80% sure it's going to do terribly and I'm going to bomb miserably, people get to watch DUIs and life hacks about peanut butter jelly sandwiches. Okay? That's the America I want to live in. Trump 2024. Let's make America great again. Okay? That's basically what I'm trying to say. Moving on to the next topic because this is going to get really, really political and I'm scared of where this thing is going. So we're going to move on. I was listening to an older pod, like I was saying at the beginning of this podcast. I was listening to an older pod, preparing for this podcast, as you will, making this podcast as great as it can be. The masterful level of this podcast that you are listening to right now, I've been preparing for all day. And one of the older podcasts, I said, I'm always in my comfort zone. I'm always in my comfort zone. Because in the summer I went to a job that I liked. I didn't have to pay rent. My mom made my food and did my laundry. I lived in an extremely, extremely nice house. I only worked on the podcast. I didn't do anything else. Most of the podcasts were with friends or people I knew. To now, I'm in a shitty apartment, living with some people I don't necessarily like. I am trying to do comedy. I am trying to host a podcast and keep it together and actually trying to grow it now. I am trying to offer podcast guests that I don't necessarily know. I am going to open mics that I don't know all the time, which is the most nerve-wracking thing ever. And I'm just always outside of my comfort zone. And I have a job that I don't like, so there's that too. I am always out of my comfort zone. Where do you make the best decisions? What makes the best art? What is the better headspace to be in? Because I feel a little manic. I feel a little more manic than I did in the summer. I feel a little more dependency on booze and marijuana more than I ever have. I'm addicted to nicotine again. So what is the better headspace to be in? Being inside your comfort zone or being outside of it? Or C, the third option, I'm a little bitch. I'm a little bitch and I need a bitch out of it, okay? Because I'm being a little fucking bitch and I need to stop being a bitch and just get my shit together. What does that mean, though, getting my shit together? And how much effort does that take? Because I've been trying to get my shit together for the past 6 months and it's still all over the place. Like every day I wake up and my number one objective is to just get my shit together. And it just doesn't work. I can't get this shit of the podcast together. How much fucking effort does it take to get this fucking podcast shit figured out, huh? How about that? Can somebody tell me how I get this podcast shit figured out? Maybe I get the rest of my shit figured out. Because right now it's just a bunch of shit not figured out and it's all over the place. And it's not, I need to figure it out. What does that even mean? Get your shit figured out. Like actual shit figured out? Like in a math equation? This is a fucking stupid fucking bit. Swing and a miss, folks. Swing and a miss. Let's move on. You know what? I'm going to try to do some comedy. We're 30 minutes in. Anyone who is listening gives a shit somewhat about me. No one's listening 30 minutes who doesn't absolutely. No one who hates me is listening to this point, okay? Is basically what I'm trying to say. So I wanted to do this new thing with solo episodes where I try stand-up jokes. Where I legitimately try them. And I'm going to try one. I'm going to see how it goes. If I don't feel horrible doing it, I'll do maybe another one. My comedy notebook here. Here we go. I'm completely scared of spiders. Anybody else? There's no one here. Guess I'm the only bitch in the room. This isn't working. Oh, I can already tell this isn't working. But I said I was gonna do it, so I'm gonna drag you along. The problem when you have a girlfriend is that when you have a girlfriend, you never have to face your fears alone. So when I'm like trying to get in the shower and my girlfriend thinks I'm being all sexy, she'll hop into the shower, take off her clothes most of the time. I'll hop into the shower right after she does. I'll take off my clothes most of the time. And I'll be like, right before I get into the shower, she's already in the shower. I'll look at her. I'll be like, damn, baby. Did you look for spiders before you came in here? Damn, baby, you know you look so good when you look for spiders. And are keeping me safe. Did you look behind the shampoo bottle for me? You know that shit turns me on when you try to keep me safe from spiders. But sometimes, my girlfriend, she'll get in, like, trying to freak me out because she'll, like, point somewhere and she'll just yell, "Oh my God, spider!" And I'll, like, freak the fuck out like a regular human being does when there's a spider in the room. Oh my God! Oh my God! Where the fuck is the spider? And I'll just, uh-oh. Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Why does it sound like that? Why does it sound like complete fucking jack shit audio right now? Wait. Okay. Nope, it does. Just give me 1 sec, guys. I'm really trying to have a good podcast. I'm really trying at this podcast. I really am. I want to be successful at this. Okay? I've dedicated. Oh, I have it. Got it. Okay. I want to be successful. I feel like I was in a rhythm there. I feel like I had a flow going, and then it was kind of fucked up, but my headphones not working. Should we pretend it didn't happen? We're going to pretend it didn't happen. Let's go. Let's move on. Where was I? Oh, of course. Me freaking out. So my girlfriend will fall in the shower. And rather than helping her up, I don't know how to do this, but just... That's me grabbing her hair and punching her in the face. Usually, I would kick the floor. I mean, the gods just don't want me to do stand-up for you guys. The gods just don't want me to do stand-up. We're going to finish this joke, though, because we're way too far in. And I feel like a regular person would just try and help their girlfriend up, but it just gets me so frustrated. That kills. Okay? I want you to know that bit absolutely fucking kills in front of a crowd. Without the whole deodorant interruption and also the headphone interruption, it's a killer bit. I promise you, but I'm never going to tell that joke again. I fucking hate myself. Have you ever listened to a podcast with somebody who hates themselves more? No, you haven't, because the people that you listen to are successful podcasters, so they can't possibly hate themselves as much. I'm a podcaster who doesn't have a successful podcast. Shoot me. Okay? And I will never be doing stand-up on a solo episode again. That's a lie. But that's how I'm feeling right now, so I said it. Let's move on to another subject. Enough of stand-up. God, I'm the fucking worst, aren't I? Twitter Musk's. This is a good way to end the episode. Elon Musk's take over Twitter. Nobody knows what's happening. Let me be very, very clear with this. Not a single American is informed with the Elon Musk takeover. What is actually happening with it? Why? Why do you ask? Why is Kpush so confident that every single American, or 90% of Americans, don't really know what's going on with Elon Musk's Twitter? I will give you that simple answer. I don't know what's going on with Elon Musk's Twitter. I hear about files being released, and these 2.0 files that confirm shadow banning. Nobody knows what is really going on, okay? I couldn't find the Twitter files, okay? There's this news, apparently there's this big news that Twitter 2.0 files that confirm shadow banning are released by Elon Musk. And I can't find them fucking anywhere. I can't find them fucking anywhere. And you might be saying, Chris, you can't find them anywhere because you are retarded. And I will say to you, yes, you are correct. I am retarded. But you are forgetting that at least half, and I think that it's a much larger percentage of the population, but at least half of America's population is also as retarded as me. So this whole argument that every American would just figure it out, they wouldn't, because they're as retarded as I am. And you also have to remember that a lot of Americans are poor, like me. Not like an actually poor, not fake poor like me, like actually real poor. Like, they're as poor as me, but I'm fake poor. I'm not real poor. So, most percentage of Americans are actually real poor, not fake poor, and also retarded. So, I am fairly confident to say that no American actually has an idea of what's really going on with Elon Musk's Twitter. Every single news outlet is saying that it's an issue, though. Every news outlet can't shut the fuck up about Elon Musk's Twitter. If I look up Elon Musk Twitter on an account I haven't opened it on, I guarantee you, right? It's going to take me like 30 seconds to even get to Elon Musk's Twitter. So Elon Musk, this Bacardi Coke was really, really, really starting to hit me. Elon Musk. See, I spelled Elon twice. It's not. Again, I'm retarded. Okay? I don't know what you want from me. Elon Musk Twitter. It's right here. Never mind, I lied. I tried this earlier and it worked. It was like at the last bottom. But it's not working anymore now. We're gonna act like that didn't happen. We're gonna act like I was right the whole time. So if you, what the fuck just, whatever, I don't care anymore. So, but we're gonna act like I was just right. So if you look up Elon Musk's Twitter, it's gonna take you like 30 seconds to even find it. Like, Google's totally hiding his Twitter profile. This is not true, but just act like it is. Which is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Like, I can't even live in a country where this shit's acceptable. Again, this is not really happening. I'm just making this up. But it's just fucking crazy, man. Can't even handle it anymore. And what else do I have to say about this project, about this topic? All podcasters love it. Why do all podcasters love it? Every news network hates the fact that Elon Musk took over Twitter, yet every single podcaster can't shut the fuck up about it. They're creaming in their pants, including me. Not really. I don't have really a topic about it. I don't think I'm big enough on Twitter to really have this to really impact me in any way. I have 4 Twitter followers. But I just don't even understand it. Like, what was I even saying anymore? Oh, yeah, every single podcaster fucking adores this, and every news network hates it. And it just doesn't even make any sense, because how the fuck is the news supposed to be what the people are saying? But the news has just become government propaganda. And podcasts is where you get the real information, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to figure out what the people are feeling, if you want to figure out what the people are thinking and knowing about, again, go to podcasts. Michael Myers walks to that door, comes in, kills me. And a podcast. What a podcast. That would be the best podcast. If Michael Myers, and it would be good if he, opened the door and just stood there for a second. Like, he just stood there and looked at me, and I was like, oh! That's my face. Oh! I didn't even, look at him. I just looked at the computer where I can see Michael. Oh! Oh! And then Michael slowly walks, and and he kills me. I don't think I'm being funny, but it buys time. So, what else do I have to say? I don't know what's going on. Listen, oh yeah. And you might be saying, why do you think that you would know what's going on? Because I did 30 minutes of research, okay? I did 30 minutes of research. And by research, I mean I listened to a podcast, and I looked up where can I find Elon Musk's Twitter files on Google. That was my 30 minutes of research. And I looked that exact question up in different ways. So I looked up, where can I find Elon Musk's Twitter files? How can I find Elon Musk's Twitter files? Where can I find Elon Musk's Twitter files? Are Twitter files exist? What is Twitter? These are the questions I looked at Google, and I couldn't figure out the story. And I also listened to the Breaking Points podcast, which is reliable, 110%. I have no doubt in my mind that that podcast is not reliable at all. And according to them, the FBI was actually giving recommendations to Twitter about who and who not to shadow ban, which is a big no-no in my book. I don't like that. I don't like when the FBI tells Twitter what not and what not to shadow ban, which could be wrong, right? Because I don't really know what's going on. But this is my podcast, so I'm going to act like it's fucking right. And the FBI should not be telling Twitter what to and what not to shadow ban. Got it? And have you ever just had someone you work with and they hate you? This is my boss right now. This is my general manager. My general manager hates me, and I'm doing everything in my power to try and make her not hate me. So I'm like sucking your dick, and I'm just like, by sucking your dick, I'm like, hey, I have the speaker charger for the speaker if you want it. Like, that's my equivalent of sucking dick. Or when she says something totally rude, I just say, okay. This is my equivalent of sucking dick. Not yelling at her and screaming is my form of being extremely nice to her. And I just want her to not hate me. But it's very difficult. And I feel like, are you a pussy whip bitch if you want someone to not hate you? I feel like you are. I feel like you're a pussy whip bitch if you want someone to not hate you and you're willing to give yourself up for some of that. But that's what I'm doing because I want a coworker, again, to not hate me. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 46. I'm back. I'm back into solo podcasting. Baby. I'm never not going to solo podcast again. The fact that I bombed completely and stopped it is just absolutely fucking insane, especially for a podcaster at 100 episodes. I'm going to start doing at least 2 solo podcasts every 10 episodes, because that's just what needs done. That's just what needs done. Now, unfortunately, I would continue this solo podcast and make it at least to 50 minutes, but unfortunately, I have the Christmas special to record. So please, everybody, tune into the Christmas special, because that one should be epic. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. This has been episode 104, or maybe not. Maybe it's 105. I don't really care. I love you all. Thank you so much. Goodbye.